We are here with another interview of another All Star winner. In fact, it is All Star winner number 3, Mr. Villain himself from Heroes vs. Villains, Ron Bowman. Now, this is going to be a really, I think, interesting conversation because I'm going to be interviewing Ron as opposed to just regularly talking to him. So this could be pretty interesting, okay? So let's get into it right away.
Let's get into it.
So Ron, you won in, I believe it was 2012? Heroes versus Villains.
Yes.
You've been back a couple times since then, but what have you been doing lately? What have you been up to?
Well, besides reigning as Miss America, I am also now, I guess, I'm working at Niagara College for the kids.
For the kids?
For the kids. And loving you every day.
That helps.
And still supporting you in your Survivor endeavors.
Yeah.
So every day.
How much has me doing this game affected you?
Well, I mean, when I remember when we first started dating and you were doing number 5, I wanted really bad to get into play because it was nothing that's been done.
Right.
So, and then the next season I played, and since that was season 6 and that was 2009, and now we're in 2015, and I played a few games, had a lot of fun, have a lot of enemies.
You do?
Very few friends now, but
I don't think that's true. I think you have friends. I think they just know better than to trust you in the game because you get into it.
or any games.
So what did you actually do with the winnings? Your $50 that you won from Heroes versus Villains?
I did nothing with it. I let you keep it.
Isn't that nice?
I play so you save money because that's our money. Which I'm very angry at every person who has taken the money.
No.
Because that's our money.
No.
That's our trip. That's our,
So it's actually you're not offended that they won or anything. You're offended that they took money out of your pocket
Oh,
for what we
everyone can win. I don't have to win every single one of them.
Ron's treat money is being affected.
It's $50 out of our pockets, people.
That's my charity.
Well, I guess I've saved you more than $50.
All right. We'll get into that. So let's talk about in your game. You were I think I was pretty hard on you in your game.
You were
Of who you went to the finals with,
yeah.
With Lisa and Missy. Do you still talk to Lisa and Missy? Are they people that you are still good friends with?
The high school alliance, as you call it,
Yes.
still keeps in touch. Me with Missy and Lisa separately. I don't know that Missy and Lisa, even in high school, were like really best of friends.
So you were the glue there.
I was the glue, and that was a lot of my strategy, was because I knew Missy and Lisa. Like, Missy and I have been friends since we were 14. Lisa as well. Lisa was probably one of the 2 girls I ever had a crush on, ever.
Oh my goodness.
And
Lisa.
Lisa knows. Lisa
Should
knows.
I be worried, Lisa?
No. Lisa knows. We're friendly now, but it's just heavy petting.
It's just over the clothes, I hope.
And Missy and I are still best friends, and we talk often, enough. You know how it is.
Now, secret has been announced that you were Mr. Kelly Dennis. Now, can we get into the whole mental stability that you had in Game 7 when you first created this Kelly Dennis character, and why did you do this?
Well, I think a lot of people could not sympathize, but like relate to this, is that I just came off of playing the game. I placed second to Ben. I was very happy about that finish, but I wanted to play again, and I didn't want to have to wait for the next All-Stars, which was even, a few months away. I couldn't wait. So I created a fake profile so that I could play the game again. But I knew as Kelly Dennis, I couldn't play as Ron Bowman.
Right.
I had to be a completely different person. I had to be nicer, less chatty. It was a fake profile with a stock photo I found on the internet when I typed in college dude. Like, It wasn't anything super special or spectacular, Kelly Dennis, except his backstory later on.
Yeah.
After several years
Being missing
Being
in
missing
action.
in action.
With no activity at all on Facebook.
He was in China.
Yeah.
He was traveling in China.
Sure.
Unfortunately, when he was in Beijing, he was at a really nice park and he lost his camera in a koi pond
Right.
and lost all his photos of the adventures that he went on. He was there for a few years. Spoke very well Mandarin. The only thing that he told me about was Jisho Zadan, which is there's a bomb in the toilet.
Right.
And
That came in handy, I'm sure.
and so the photos that were ended up on his Facebook page were, again, photos of places he'd been,
That
but
you
weren't
just-
necessarily his photos.
Google search.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, in that, so Kelly only played twice.
Yes.
Right. He played Game 7, which Missy won,
Missy one.
and then Game 19 that Lisa came in second. So I asked that because you say you played it differently, but Missy and Lisa had a great success in
But-
those games.
In season 7,
Yep.
Kelly, I wasn't playing just with Missy. Mike was there as well, my
Yeah.
brother Mike. But they didn't know I was them. I was Kelly.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't play as Ron. I had to play as Kelly, so they didn't know that was Kelly.
Okay.
And even then, Kelly got voted out 10th. He came in 10th place. He was just after that big swap, outcast twist, and so he didn't do very well in that season. And that's when he was like, "Well, I've got nothing else to live for, so I'm going to go
Right.
to China."
And then he came back.
And then he came
talked
back.
with Lisa. And what about Karen McCauley? Do you still talk to Karen at all?
I don't talk to Karen as much. I love Karen. Like I played with Karen the first time in season 6, and we were at odds with each other because we were on opposite tribes and we didn't know each other. And Lisa as well. I played with Lisa in season. Lisa was in season 6 with me, but she wasn't part of my alliance. I was with Ben, Sandy, and Marco, and I wasn't unwavering with that. I didn't really want to break that
Right.
alliance, so I didn't play with Lisa really until I was Kelly Dennis, and I didn't play with Missy until season 20.
Okay. So now, why did you beat these people?
Well, from what other people perceived, Missy wasn't as vocal as a player, and I was playing. Like, I wanted to win. Of every season that I had played, that was the season that I was just like, I want to win this season because, one, it's one of my favorite seasons of Survivor, and 2, to be cast as a villain and to win as a villain, I thought was just a great achievement. So I had that. And then Lisa, I knew was going to be tough, but I knew Lisa might be easier to beat than Nick because my strategy by that point was not to overextend myself in alliances.
Right.
And not I talked to people, but I didn't make them promises or give them false hope. I was pretty clear about, I wanted to work with these people. I wanted to stick with my villains, even with having my brother as a hero and making some friends on the heroes tribe. I had my game set. I wanted to win this way, and that's how I got to the end. I maybe, from what I understand, probably would have won without a tie vote had I not said certain things, but fortunately, the twist was Missy got to vote, and I kept that relationship, and that's worked for other people as well afterwards too. So I mean, it's something that's just part of your game happens. So if it was a real game of Survivor, and I didn't know any of these people, I would probably be more drawn to work with people like Adam Doyle, because I do like his style of gameplay, but at the same time I know that we try to work together, but it just never seems to work.
So you did start getting along with Adam Doyle more.
Oh yeah.
It's starting in this game, I think, in Heroes vs. Villains.
I think it started in 22. When we
Oh,
played
okay.
in
So
22.
in Heroes vs. Villains, you guys weren't getting along.
Well, we got along, but we knew we couldn't play together.
Okay.
But
it wasn't as like game
no.
All Stars 2. Like All Stars 2
no.
with Michelle and other, you were really against Adam.
Well,
because you were jealous of Adam?
No, I wasn't jealous of Adam. I had in that game, from what I understand, I had about 13 people I could have played the game
Yes.
with, and I wanted to keep my options open, and Adam wasn't an option to me. He was the antithesis of me.
Right.
And I really didn't want to see him win, and I'm glad that I kind of actively promoted for Michelle to win, because I think she did deserve to win that game, because she manipulated us all. But Adam was not my friend in
Right.
the first game we played together.
So, besides these people that we've talked about,
Yeah.
that you were finalists with, from all the past games you've played, and there's been quite a number.
6, 8, 16, 20, 22, 26, 7, 19, and 7. So I've played,
You're counting 26.
yeah.
Okay.
I know.
I don't know
I'm
what
counting
happened.
26.
Is there any real friendships that you've formed from the game?
Well, quite a
itself?
few.
So,
I mean,
so who have you become friends with? from the
well,
game?
I mean, we had that big get together in Toronto with Adam and Michelle, who are, I would call them friends, absolutely. And Lucy, well, she's always been a friend since I've met you. And then I've got my comrades, Jessica and Missy and Lisa, who I knew outside the game. My brothers, Mike and Ben, obviously. Those are people I guess I knew outside of the game. There's a few friendships that have kind of formed, I guess. Tyler, Neil, but that's kind of more outside of the game,
Yeah.
for sure. Other than that, I do try to keep the game separate from my personal life, just because there's a lot of crazies that play your game. And
some
I
good
don't
ones.
want to associate myself with all of them, as sure they don't want to associate themselves with me.
It gets intense. That's
It does
for
get
sure.
intense. You see me.
Oh, I've seen you almost crying. Well, actually, I think you did once. I know you threw the computer, and I had to tell you off. That was one of the first games you played.
I told- and I also
because it
told
was
you-
my computer.
I also told you to get out of the apartment.
Yes.
Yes.
So you definitely have changed. I think you've grown up with the game, where you started off being kind of scary to play with,
I was
as a
very,
host.
I was very intense.
to a point where now you vote yourself out of the game, and
Yes.
you handled it actually very well.
I'm actually happy I voted myself out of that game.
I think you probably would have went anyways.
I was
think
close.
there
I was
was-
close
yeah,
to going.
yeah.
There was an alliance there of the lamest people in the world.
Here comes the villain.
And I didn't want. I knew I like Sean. Sean's a friendship as well, I would say, because I loved playing with Sean. Sean, I'm glad that he won that game. He deserved it. But his alliance of Kaylee and Tyler and Carolyn and Rox were just. He was the clear winner of that group. Like, the rest of them, I'm just like, oh, I'm so glad I'm not there.
Well, he seemed to be making moves with the other people playing, as
He was
opposed
smart,
to the other
yeah.
ones. They seemed to be very close to who was in
Yeah,
their group.
from my understanding, he had built relationships, while Kaylee and Tyler, especially, were about the three or their group, and not about talking with anyone else. I remember Kaylee and Tyler sending me messages, and I wasn't going to give them anything because I was like, I'm not on your tribe. I'm not playing that way, so I'm not going to give you anything. And then they would come to me, especially in that challenge between Ben and I. Kaylee went to both Ben and I and said, I'm going to help you. And it's like, well, I know you're lying to me because that's what you do. Like, you haven't played the game as long as I have to know when these situations
Right.
occur. So I know you're lying to me, and I just based on knowing you, I know you're lying to me. So that's right, Kaylee. I know.
So, who are some of your favorite players?
Man alive. I've played with a lot of great people. Well, I'm gonna have to start off with Sandy.
Sandy, I actually think you and Sandy have a great relationship.
I think-
and it's not. Sometimes when I say it, it sounds like I'm joking, but you guys worked very well together in the first time you guys played Game 6. You guys, I mean, you were an odd pairing. You didn't seem.
Well,
seem
it
like,
was.
it would work, and
It
you
was-
guys did make it work.
I don't remember. I remember the season, but I don't remember a lot about the early stuff with like Mike Budge and that Chris guy that yelled at you for making it rigged. But Sandy just was somebody I felt like I could trust. Like she was the mama bear in our all men's tribe for sure. She definitely helped out, and it was good working with her and then having Ben, who was my brother, and keeping that secret with Sandy. But then there was a point much later in the game where Sandy, we had found out that Sandy's best friend Blair was playing, and kind of were like, well, that's kind of unfair. Because it's not like I was using my relationship with Lisa. That was Lisa's first game too, but I wasn't playing with Lisa. I was playing with Ben.
Well, yeah.
And in a lot of ways, yeah, that was the same similar thing. But Ben was part of our alliance. Blair wasn't. So she wanted to keep Blair, for obvious reasons. But I was like, well, fuck that shit. She's not keeping anyone. So.
But then All Stars came around, and you and Sandy sort
No.
of fell apart.
No, we weren't good after that point. I think couples counseling didn't work. Movie nights, snuggles, none of those worked, Sandy. No, we weren't good.
What's your relationship with Sandy like today?
I mean, Sandy is Sandy. I don't know anything about Sandy other than what I've experienced in the game. We are definitely not friends. But I would love to see her at the August 22nd event for a dance.
Well, I have a question that came in, because I asked people to send in questions, and one of the questions was, why were you so afraid of Sandy that you ran away and hid at the Walmart? I wasn't dressed like those crazy Walmart people or anything, and I wasn't carrying any weapons.
Well, I'd like Sandy to get the fuck over that, because it happened years ago, and if she has nothing else going on in her life that she focuses on this, like I never think about this event. I've had so many other incidences at Walmart that were more interesting than this. Like my horn broke. My car horn broke at Walmart when I was screaming, "Where's the milk, Shirley?" And this was just boring. Like, Sandy, find something else. Like, play the game again and make a new enemy. Like, leave me alone. I ran away from you because I didn't want to see you.
Oh.
It was simple as that.
Villain.
I just didn't
Villain.
want to see her.
Hiss.
I didn't want to see her. Because I didn't... A large part of it was I didn't know how I would behave, and I didn't know how she would behave. And she can say all she wants about, oh, I would have been fine, I would have been great. I don't know that necessarily she would have. But we'll see at the August 22nd event when we kiss and make up.
I'm predicting at least a 5-minute hug. Between the two.
I'm not going to be mean to people at this event. It's not the game. It's a socializing event. We're getting together because we all love the game and we all love you.
Right.
And I'm not going to embarrass you or anyone else I know there unless someone pours many a drinks from me and I decide to yell at a few people. But
Alright, so you guys now have the... you get to decide how you want Ron to be at this party by the amount of alcohol that he drinks. So, yeah, if you want him to be vulgar and rude and potentially dangerous, then give him some alcohol.
if you want Phil to be drunk as a sailor and running, give him cider.
No.
Cider.
No, that will
I'm not responsible for you that night.
No. I think it's going to be a little messy, but I'm excited to see everybody. And I think it's going to be great to see everybody talking with each other and listening in to finding out new things that happened in the game. I'm sure there's lots of stories.
Anyone bringing a date, warn them they're going to be bored. Just
Now that could be possible, or they make it interesting and want to play.
we can recruit some new people. It's like getting people in the gay army.
Yes.
Yes.
So who else do you like? Some other favorite players?
We're still on that. Adam
Adam, yeah.
our big contentious relationship for sure. Michelle, I love playing with Michelle. Sean Dickey was a great one to play with. I love playing with Jillian Foster, Jillian Moore.
Yeah.
Another, probably out of everyone in the game, excluding my family, is the person I've known the longest. And I only got to play with her once, and it was pretty great. I loved playing with Penny, and I'm sad that she's gone.
Yeah.
She was always a great person to play with and talk to and strategize with. Plus, she was just a sweetheart. And I'm trying to think. There was probably someone in season 16 that I'm forgetting. Mike Morawski. He was always fun to play with. Yeah, he was always fun to play with. So you've got some good characters.
I think that on the most part, the people that end up making it to the end, I think, are all usually pretty good people.
Pretty usual.
I think that it would be tough to.
Now I get to say.
Now that's your opinion, but remember, as host, when it comes to this, I think I have the right say in who were good people.
You can say what you want to say. You're entitled to your opinion as well, but I also have to live with you.
That's true.
In games that I'm not playing, while you're sitting there laughing, and then you're like, "Oh, I wish I could tell you. Oh, I don't know. I can't. Oh no, I can't say anything." And then when the game's done, it's a floodgate. And I'm not gonna spill secrets because I don't remember most of them, but you do. Oh my God, this person. Oh my God, that person.
Yeah.
So, but
yes. Well, yeah. When we get to the points where I have to remove people from the game, I think that's okay.
Well, that's okay to talk about.
I do remember I told you a lot about Jay, and some of his.
Oh, Squire.
Squire, you liked playing Squire?
He was nuts.
Yeah.
In his own special brand of nuts. Yeah. It wasn't outwardly you thought he was crazy. Like you'd probably meet him on the street and be okay with him. But I think it was more of a religious crazy.
Okay.
So.
Who are some of the players you've been scared to play against? Like maybe either scared because they were really good players, or scared because you were just scared of them for maybe your life.
Scared for my life, not my life, but the lives of anyone under the 18 years of age, is Mikey Colin, who's a known pervert down here in Niagara.
This is on video, right?
Yep. Who else am I? Well, I was scared of Adam Doyle. I think we were scared of each other for certain reasons, for sure. In a lot of ways, I was scared of Lisa because she is a tough player. But I always loved playing with Lisa because I knew she was somebody that I could trust. Oh, and Fee. I loved playing with Fee.
Okay.
Fee was great.
Well, we've gone past that question.
I'm okay. I'm gonna remember the stuff and go back to it all the time.
Let's get another question from somebody.
Okay.
You've got quite a number here.
Woo!
A lot of people want to know, what is your strategy superpower? Well, what makes you such a good player, Ron? What's your strategy?
I don't know necessarily that there's one particular thing that I do. I think I'm very good at building alliances with people that know that they can trust me. I don't really do a lot of screwing people over, but I do like to build a solid group of people and let them know, like, you don't have to worry about me. I'm not unwavering. Like everyone I've gotten to the end of the game with has been people that I started the game with.
Right.
Ben, Lisa and Missy, Lisa and Karen, and Sean and Amy. So, like, I've always been loyal. So, loyalty pays off in a lot of ways, but I think just being a social dominant player helps too.
Yeah.
I mean, people have been said they were scared of me, but I mean, I play the game and I make it a little more interesting. A lot of times people just sit there and don't say anything, and you're just like, this is so boring. So sure, I'll say something and cause a little bit of.
Do you think your love of the show helps at all? Do you ever relate anything from the show to how you're gonna play?
No, not necessarily. I look at a lot of the people I admire that have played the real game of Survivor, like Parvati and Boston Rob and Sandra, and I don't necessarily think about them when I'm playing the game, but then I watch the shows again and I kind of see moves that I may have made that they made as well, and I see, like, okay, so I'm doing something right.
Right.
And I work from that, but loving the game Survivor doesn't necessarily mean you are going to do great at Phil's Facebook Survivor game.
I agree with that. What about your competition? What are like your biggest competition people? What are some of the superpowers that maybe they have that you're you think, wow, that's really good, like something that you don't have that they have in the game or something.
One thing I've never had is one thing I've never done in this game is play solo.
Right.
So I've never been somebody I've never been unknown. Maybe the first game I was a little unknown because it was brand new. Afterwards, I've only been in all-star games or
it's tough for you
It
because being so close with the host and players and stuff.
And a lot of people think that I'm privy to information, and I'm not at all. You are so good at keeping it secret, especially from me, that I don't know. Like that twist in 26, where I was so certain that it was going to be, I get to pick a new tribe or I get an advantage, so vote for me, and then I get voted out of the game. That was a great twist, but I did not know that was coming.
Right.
So that's what made it great, and I was okay with it because it was a funny twist. So, but my biggest competition, the superpower a lot of them have, is that they are rogue. They don't have anyone. And it's hard, it can be a little tough for me to pick up someone like that knowing that I don't know them and therefore I don't know necessarily I can trust them. And then do I want to take that chance? But
right.
Other people who are like, well, I don't have anyone, you don't have anyone, let's get together and play. It's good for them. Meanwhile, like I have 13 people that I've got to try and manage.
And like I've been on you before about, I've said, well, you should try and play with people that you don't know to make the game fair, but in all honesty, there is probably people would be gunning for you because they can tell that you have these people. Mm-hmm. So there is that you have to deal with.
Well, in 2022, with Sean was Adam's friend, and Adam and I came back as returning people. And in that game, prior to the game starting, I knew Amy, Kaylee, Jillian, Penny. So I knew a few people.
Yeah.
So I knew a few people, and I knew they might come to me to try and help them out too. Rob, like I knew of Rob K from a previous game, but I didn't play with him. But like I knew people. So I had a little bit of that advantage that they could come to me and talk to me. Like Amy would call me.
Right.
And I would talk to Amy that way. Kaylee and Julia, I would talk to Kaylee at work. Like it was easier in some senses to talk to them in that game when you have someone like Jeff, who at the beginning is saying we have to get Ron out.
Right.
And it's like, well.
Now in that game, that was game 22. It was you, Sean, and Amy. Do you still interact much with Sean or with Amy at all?
Sean, when the 26 started, we had talked about playing the game together if we were on the same tribe. We found out we weren't, and then it was hard to really talk to him. And I love Sean. Like I'm so happy Sean won both of those games. And I'm excited to meet him on the 22nd of August as well. But it's hard when you don't know the people outside of the game sometimes. Like my relationship with Adam is better because we hang out.
Yeah.
Same with Michelle. Like I can probably talk to them about certain things that I can't talk about with somebody I played the game once or twice with. Sean is great. Amy I don't talk to anymore. We had a bit of a falling out. So and that's okay. She's happy with her life, I'm happy with mine. So that's c'est la vie.
How about any favorite memories from any of your past games that maybe people would be a bit surprised to hear about?
So the one memory that really always stands out to me is in 22, that I think it was Final 5, and the challenge was you gave us a list of words, and we had to figure out what that meant.
Right.
And you're looking at this, and I think that challenge went on for like 4 or 5 hours. And then finally it just snapped in my head that there was 12 words, and it was like Jackass, Flamingo, and it was all the calendar months. So you had to put them in order of the calendar months. And I finally figured it out, and that was so pivotal because Jeff had gotten back into the game and we needed him gone for our final 3 to work.
Right.
And that was so great because when I got that, I ran around the apartment screaming at the top of my lungs. I was so excited. That was always I just loved it because it was a challenge that I was like, wow, it's such a cerebral challenge. It was taking everyone forever, and you were always so scared when someone posted it that they got it right. And you're just like, how did they figure it out? And then when I finally figured it out and I knew what it was, I was so excited. So I loved winning that challenge. That was one of my favorite moments. Another favorite moment would be going to the finals with Ben and having that work.
Right.
For people who don't know, Ben's last name is Gosselin. My last name is Bowman. We're brothers. I have my mom's last name. Ben has my dad's last name. I was born before my parents got married, and then we just never changed it. So that worked in our favor because...
But you always kept that name. That wasn't something that you did for the game.
No, it's always been my name. So
right.
That was something that we could keep separately. And what surprised me in that was that people either just didn't go through our photos because they didn't connect it, or they just didn't do that. I mean, I don't go through everyone's photos. I don't really care to do that unless I think that they're an interesting person and I want to be friends with them. But they didn't do that with Ben and I, and Ben and I had actually just came back from a vacation where we had a lot of photos together.
Right.
And Ben and I both went to Brock, and like we were friends that way. I think our backstory was we just said that Ben came to Brock after we went to high school together. So we knew each other, but we didn't know each other.
Right.
So.
Now, do you feel like because this game, you and Ben have played now a couple times together?
Yes.
Do you feel that because you guys live in different cities and that this game sort of has helped with your relationship in any way? Like, in at least being like able to communicate more, or like...
It gives us something to do together.
Right.
Because in terms of personality, Ben and I have very different interests.
Well, he's a hero.
He's a hero and I'm a villain. So Ben likes to help the needy and volunteer and help old ladies across the street. No, Ben loves sports. Ben has his own life, and I think that's the way our parents kind of raised us, was to have our own lives. But Ben and I playing the game together really helped us bond a little further.
Right.
Which is good because Ben's the youngest and I'm the oldest by 4 years. So, it can be a little tough with big families, but we're still all really close. Like even Mike has played. And I've worked with Ben in a couple games where we've gotten further together, and then I worked with Mike in a game and we got further together. And I remember in Heroes vs. Villains, Ben and I were sitting in the Broad Library, or the fishbowl, playing the challenge against each other, next to each other, and watching each other chat with people playing.
Ooh.
And that was pretty fun because I had said to Ben, we kind of agreed, if we had an alliance that worked, let that go. Because if we were both on the jury, it was an automatic vote.
Right.
And I said, well, there's no one else I would have to vote. I would vote for. I just think that would be pretty sleazy not to vote for my brother. And he said the same thing. And so when it was like the final 6, and it was like, okay, none of the idols had been played. The only person we know who doesn't have an idol is Ben. It has to be Ben who goes. It was pretty shitty to have to vote him out, but at the same time, I had to look out for my own team. And he understood that. And that's what's great about Ben, is that he's smart enough and understanding enough to know that it's just a game. And in a lot of ways, he taught me how to have good sportsmanship too, because I didn't play sports as a kid. When I lost, sometimes I'd throw a fit. Sometimes when I'd win, I'd be overzealous, and same with him. But we taught each other a lot about sportsmanship and playing together.
Oh.
Good old Ben.
So you already sort of answered this, but maybe if there's any others. What are like your favorite challenges?
Well, that was my favorite challenge. My other favorite challenge has always been the 3 strikes and you're out because I normally win that one.
Right.
I like the flag making challenge too, and I like the integration of doing video in the past few years for you. That's been fun to watch.
That's fun to watch because then you sort of get to know the people a bit better,
Yeah.
especially when it's somebody you don't know. Yeah.
Exactly, and you hear their voice and you're like, oh my god, they're a big flamer or something like that.
What do you look for in an ally? In an alley.
In an alley, in an alleyway.
Lots
well,
of garbage cans.
Lots of garbage cans. Hopefully not a dead body of a local celebrity. In an ally, I really like. Okay, so if I was to play by myself completely without anyone there,
Yeah.
I want someone that I feel I can relate to in some ways. I feel like with you can talk to a person outside of the game, that's
That
good
helps.
too, because then you can trust them a little bit by telling stories. I'm a little cautious more now, especially having played with Michelle, because she screwed me over twice, and I thought I could really trust her, and I knew at the third time I couldn't.
So you screwed her.
So I had
over,
to get
right?
rid of
You
her
did-
when.
yeah.
Well, Adam didn't give her immunity, so it's
Right.
Adam's fault.
Okay.
He gave James immunity, and then they thought they were going to vote me out, which was not going to be the case because I was controlling that alliance, and that was pretty good. So, but in an ally, if I was to play by myself, it'd be somebody that I could relate to on social level as well. It just makes the game a little bit easier.
Have you ever accidentally, this is another question sent in, accidentally or by design, discover like a hint or a clue about the game plan of Phil's Facebook Survivor?
Never.
No, never looked
Never,
at
never.
anything? Ron?
Never.
No, he hasn't.
Not once. You have it on a USB that you carry with you. That's yours. It's private. And most of all, I don't want to ruin the integrity of your game.
No, because
I'm
I would beat you up.
That's right. And someone's already tried to tamper with it, and we know how that's changed it.
Well, it's true. You know,
So, and that was very disappointing.
You wouldn't be allowed to come out to the
No.
August 22nd event, which, are you coming to the August 22nd event, Ron?
I have it in my social calendar, but I'm going to have to check with my Miss America responsibilities.
Okay, here's another question. I won't say who it's from because it's pretty open-ended here. So, why do you adore Michelle so much when she is without a doubt the devil's spawn?
Well, because we're related by devil blood. Like, Michelle's great. I've always loved Michelle, especially her sense of humor.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about working with her. It was someone I felt like I could trust. She's got that kind of motherly, alcoholic thing I look for in a friend. So Michelle's just great. Michelle as the devil spawn, it's really hard to say with as many psychos that have played your game.
That's true.
So devil spawn Michelle, she might have sent in that question just because she wanted me to say how much I love her.
Well, she might have.
She might have. So, I mean, it's like Sandy sending in her question. Like, just get over it already.
Just it popped into my head. So in Heroes vs. Villains, you mentioned that getting Nick out in 4
Yes.
was important. Do you think Nick could have beat you?
Yes.
Yeah. So Nick, you could have been an all-star maybe
Yeah.
winner.
I guess Nick would have been one of the first people that I never played with that I played with now.
Yeah.
But in Heroes vs. Villains, when I saw the makeup of our tribe, I knew I had 4 people for sure. And then knowing Rox's relationship with Nick, I could probably use that to my advantage as well.
Right.
So that was a lot about relationship management too. And with Nick, it was trying to get to know him. And I didn't know anything really about Nick except for what you had said in passing in the past, and then what other people have said about Nick too, which was that if I was looking for someone to pass my evil crown along to, Nick might have been a candidate.
But he
based on
didn't
what he
act that
said.
way in the game.
But he didn't. And that was, at the end of it, I was like, Nick played more hero
Yeah.
than villain, which to me was like, I have to go to the end with people I know that I can beat. And because I wanted to win, and Nick was not someone I could beat. So I respected Nick too much to let him go to the finals.
So the next edition of Facebook Survivor is going to be Blood versus Water. And if you were going to play, now you've played this a couple times with
That's
Blood.
true.
But who would you pick to be your partner? And it would have to be someone new. And how do you think, and you would probably have a better knowledge of this than anyone, how family and relationships being brought into the game and playing like in pairs, how is that would change the game?
Am I related to Parvati Shallow at all? Do we know this?
No, not at all.
Damn, I would ask her. Okay, well, I played with two brothers. I played with a sister-in-law, a mother-in-law. I would say I have a cousin whom I might ask. She's a school teacher. Like,
Yeah.
we were really going for polar opposites. We're like, growing up, we were best friends for sure. High school comes around, your personalities change a little bit. She is total hero.
Yeah.
Destiny is great. I would ask her because I know she's a fan of the show, but I know that she's maybe not necessarily a fan of playing the game. I would love to get my mother because I think she would be absolutely interesting. But I don't know necessarily that I could find someone to play with me. But what I would love to see is I would love to see Ben play with his twin sister, Sarah.
Oh.
Because I think Sarah's the last person in our group of 4 that hasn't played, and they're twins, so it would make more sense. If Ben didn't want to play, but Sarah did, then I would step in and play with Sarah.
Right.
Unless Mike didn't want to play. Because I played so many times and I left on a very high note last time. I don't think I need to redeem myself after voting myself
Well,
out
I
of the
don't know.
game.
I think that's a pretty bad way to leave it. Isn't it to just say, okay, I'm done, I'm voting myself.
But I've told you my thoughts about how I think that game is going to be played, knowing who could potentially play.
Yeah.
And I don't know necessarily I want to play that round.
Okay, so you're thinking it's going to be filled with people that you can't beat, or
That won't want to play.
that
with
won't
me.
want to play with you? Okay. Well, that's mean. Isn't that a little mean?
No. I understand that people
I think
don't
people
want
like to play with you.
Well, I do hold the title for getting to the finals
The
more
most.
than anyone else.
That's
so,
true.
Especially with my Kelly Dennis edition.
Yes. Well, we don't really count that.
We
though.
do count that. I'm a
Kelly
two-time
is-
winner.
No.
I'm a 2-time winner.
No. The check was written out to Kelly, and it's still to be cashed.
Or rest in peace, Kelly.
Is Kelly dead?
He,
But have we killed the Kelly Dennis character?
Kelly died in a A&W explosion in North Bay.
Oh
unfortunately.
gosh, that's always the worst
Yeah.
kind. Okay. So would you ever play Facebook Survivor again?
I always would play.
Yeah.
I love playing. Like,
Well, the
it's-
first 2 All-Star winners, Lucy and Michelle, say they have retired.
I can understand why they have.
Are you
Lucy's
saying that they're old?
No. I'm not saying they're old. I'm saying that Lucy has a different type of lifestyle now, and Michelle's too drunk to play.
Wow.
So, I would play. I always love playing, and I would never stop playing your game because you do such a fabulous job that I want to make sure that the game is played with excitement.
Right.
So if it sounds like it's a boring season, there should always be a twist to bring me in to make it more interesting.
More interesting. Okay.
might have been
what
the
would
Devil
we,
Clown.
Maybe people can answer and they can make comments. What would we call the twist? If we've got a boring season, we add Ron. What should we call that twist? So put that in when you want to respond to this video. I also, when I interviewed Lucy and Michelle, I gave them 7 names.
Oh shit.
Sort of like a word association.
Okay.
Just sort of your thoughts on these people. You can do your loving way of just thoughts in general. I know how you'd like to just give your opinion, but also maybe relate it to maybe their gameplay as well, just for Survivor.
Oh, okay.
Okay, maybe the personal attacks can be at a minimum. So here we go.
That's boring.
So your first person is Adam Doyle.
Adam Doyle is a great game player.
Yes, he is.
He's very smart, but I think he spends, when he gets into the game, I don't think anything else exists in his world. I think that he's
Well, he posts a lot of photos. He's a very busy guy.
a very busy guy. I don't understand where his energy comes from. But he definitely envelops himself into the game, and that's great because you want to see people do that, because you don't want to see people sign up to play half-assed. Because you don't put together a half-assed
Right.
game. You put together a whole-assed game, and it's a sweet, sweet game to play. So Adam's great in doing that.
I think he's intense,
Very.
but not crazy intense. I
No.
think he's intense, like very smart, competitive.
Yeah, no, he's there to play and he's there to
Yeah.
win, and that's great about Adam. And now, and I'm pretty sure even if like thinking back on it, we probably would have been friends the first time we played together too, if there wasn't such a divide in how the game was going. Like I had all these people, and Adam wasn't a number, so I didn't care to bring Adam along. He was expendable. But Adam now, like we're definitely friends, and you know I love playing games with Adam and talking with Adam and hanging out with Adam. Like I would never want to be. I don't know necessarily I could play with Adam in a game. We have never seen that been able to happen. I would love to try, but I don't know.
What about a season where we make it Ron and Adam versus the Colemans?
Well,
because I think you would work with Adam in that scenario because you both. Well, Adam doesn't dislike the Colemans. They sort of dislike.
They're
him.
like the Osmonds. They're so dull. And they like grow up gay, like Utah gay too. Like Eleanor's raising her boys all to produce no one. She wants to be a lonely mother.
Remember, we were videotaping this.
I know.
All right.
I know.
Let's move on to another person.
Okay.
Okay, Jillian Young.
So Jillian Young and I have had a contentious relationship for the most part, and I think it's just because we've never seen eye to eye. I remember playing with her in the first All-Star game and saying, I don't want her around, and I'm moving her out. And I think I said that to the point where it turned my alliance against her, so that they're like, well, Ron's going to vote that way, we might as well too. Now, I worked 2 stalls down from Jillian at the mall, and I love Jillian. Jillian's great. She's a sweetheart. I'm sad in a way that I'm sad that I did get myself voted out of the game in the last game because I was working with Jillian and it was actually going really well with her and Adam especially, and 2 people I'd never played with before that I finally got to play with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sad I didn't get to see that through to fruition, and I think Jillian as a game player, she's very sneaky and subtle, which is good for her because a lot of the times she has a family, she has responsibilities, and I get when people have that. But with Jillian, what's great about her is that she's also reliable in the game with other things going on in life. She's great.
She's been a part of this since game 3.
That's great.
And she's like played every All-Star. She's somebody that's really knows the
and
game,
that was
what it is.
the first time that we were ever on a tribe together. So it was the same thing with Adam. Maybe that was the first time we were on a tribe together.
And she continues to play even though she doesn't really know anybody.
She's
that's something
good.
that I really respect.
Mhm.
Yeah. Kaylee Monroe.
Oh, Kaylee. So I love Kaylee as a person. As a game player, I don't agree with her at all. She's the type of intense crazy that Adam's not.
Oh.
Kaylee really, 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 really loves playing these games. She's the type of person you would go into an escape room and you just sit there and let her try and solve it all herself because she wouldn't let you do anything else. Kaylee's great in the game in that she shows fierce loyalty, especially with the group of people she does, but I know that she's a sneaky player as well. Like I said, I love Kaylee outside of the game. Inside of the game, I don't know necessarily that I would trust her for a lot of things. I would want to.
So it's not that you don't like her in the game, it's you just aren't quite sure you would be able to work with her because she's tough to work with.
Well, she's tough. She can be a little tough to work with. She's
Yeah.
very competitive. Our styles of gameplay, especially after, I feel like she's me back in season 8.
Right.
And I feel like there's some evolution there that can be done for her. I mean, she's won and she's gone to the finals, so she's done great. But playing with her the first time was hilarious because it was completely opposite to how I was playing.
Right.
But I still was able to kind of work with her and still know, okay, people are going to see how intense she is. I'm going to use that to get her out of the game, or else she's going to win. And I would have loved to have seen Kaylee win. I'm glad she won. But in the last game, I was definitely not rooting for her to win.
Right. Did you hold her responsible for you being out? Or
No.
just you.
Just me. It's just me.
You're going to take them.
Yeah,
on.
I take
Okay.
full responsibility. But had
Because
I...
she did say she was messaging you and trying
She
to
was
distract
messaging.
you.
Well, she did it right before you sent out the challenge, and then during the challenge she sent something else too. Because I'm playing on my phone, that pops up, and I'm
Right.
trying to do the challenge. But fortunately, technology has it now where that doesn't overlap and change the screen. So thank God it didn't happen, or else I would have been out sooner.
Here's another friend, Linda Marriage.
Linda and I are great friends. We don't see each other as much anymore because she fell in love and moved to Welland, the Rose City. Linda is a great person. She's got a really kind heart. She isn't very good at this game. And I think Linda wants to be sneaky and manipulative and do all that, but I think a lot of people just don't trust her. And it's because it's unfortunate, like, she's so nice and she wants to be with the people who are kind of taking control of the game and playing it, that she aligns with them, and then people target her.
Mm-hmm.
She's never, I think I've only played with her 2 times, and I've never played with her because I can't. Like, she's never on my tribe, but then even if I had the opportunity to, I couldn't work with her. I wouldn't trust her. But I trust
Linda's
her.
played a lot of times, and she usually does fairly well. She usually at least makes the jury. I do think, actually, she's kind of like up and down, up and down. Sometimes they get rid of her early. I think I've always seen people think Linda's just a big threat, and they have to get rid of her.
I don't think Linda's a threat.
But every time she
Maybe
goes, it's like everyone's like, that was a big move. We got rid of Linda. So not necessarily. What's going on with Kevin and Linda?
Oh Christ!
Do you understand this?
Linda, I think. Well, Kevin. Who knew anything about Kevin besides that he was flirting with everybody that he could, and he's French Canadian. Like, I don't know anything else about the guy. And with Linda, poor Linda, she must have been really horny to want to go after Kevin. So.
So you're saying there was.
She was into him.
Oh. Because they seem to not get along.
Not now, because Linda knows he's gay.
Oh, jeez.
I was up front with Linda from the beginning. I said, back off. And then we were friends. We worked out together.
You worked out?
For like a month.
Wow.
And we went to McDonald's.
How about Matthew DeHaan?
I don't know anything about Matthew DeHaan.
You never talked to him
I never talked to him in the game. No.
Wow.
But from my understanding of Matthew, I like the way he plays the game because he's supported my brother. He's always worked with Ben, and I like that. I like that Ben always had Matthew on his side, it seemed like. I think Matthew and his brother Joshua are very much like me and Ben.
Right.
But they can work together, but Joshua and I couldn't work together.
Joshua and Matt, when they play, are very different.
Mm-hmm.
They're very different.
Yeah. So Matthew, I think.
But both could work. But I could definitely not see Josh and you working well together.
No, we couldn't. He tried to in Heroes vs. Villains, but I had my alliance already set, and I knew there was something fishy going on with the James profile. I didn't trust Joshua.
Right.
That wasn't, because when James would message me, it'd be the exact same thing that Joshua was messaging me. And it felt like it was copy and paste.
Right.
So I didn't trust that, and so I didn't want to have that around. It wasn't good for my game, especially knowing that.
Matthew, I like Matthew. He reached out to me. He was the only person that really said, when I announced what the Rocks thing happened, he's the only person that said that he was sorry that would happen in the game right away, and I appreciate that. I think I like Matthew also because he's from Australia,
yes,
and he's somebody who I don't know, and he sort of helped contribute.
Well, when we go to Australia to visit Danny, maybe we can swing by and say hi to Matthew.
Oh yeah, how about Sean Dickey?
Oh, Sean Dickey, great guy. I'm very happy I got to play with him. I would have, thinking in hindsight, if Sean had come to me and said something about wanting to work with Adam as well, I have a feeling I would have entertained that idea, because Adam and I were trying to figure out a way to play together.
Right.
because we were like, finally, we're in a season where it's just the two of us and we don't have to worry about anyone else. Maybe we can make this work. And with Sean, it kind of seemed like it was a good fit, the three of us, but I knew Sean would pick Adam over me anytime. Until I figured out that Sean was just kind of going with the flow, knowing that he could probably beat me in the end. Because he'd have Adam on the jury, and there were people on the jury who weren't cheering for me.
Right.
So Sean's a great game player. If I were to play with Sean again, though, I would want him on the jury. I would probably say, for sure, work with him, and then we'll see what happens.
Well, it's going to be tough for him to win ever again.
I think it's the same with Ben.
With Ben,
Ben's
the two-time winning thing.
I've won twice.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's not in the books. Not in the books.
Twice.
And the last, the last person on your list is Shannon Unruh.
Oh, my little minion. Shannon is a sweet, sweet person. She's got a very good heart. I feel like I'm being really nice, but I feel like you chose a lot of people that would be really nice too.
I randomly drew.
Very good. Shannon, I wanted to play, I think, with Shannon in All-Stars, even All-Stars 2 and then Heroes vs. Villains. I feel bad about the way we took Shannon out in Heroes vs. Villains, especially since having to go to the trivia night with her the next night. But she's kind of got a good heart about the game, but at the same time I feel like she takes it really personally, and I wish she wouldn't. But I think that's just Shannon. As a game player, she's very reliable, and I really do depend on her, especially if I needed like a vote. She most likely would just say sure. But I think in Heroes vs. Villains, it was Shannon. We just didn't know where she stood. Like, she was on the Heroes tribe, but she wasn't really talking, so we didn't know if it was like, well, should we vote out Shannon or should we take out this person? So we just voted out Shannon, and I think that left her on a sour note.
Yeah.
I wish Shannon would play again.
I know Shannon. I asked her to come back. I think she was going to come back in 23, and she almost did come back. Mm-hmm. Or actually, it might have been game 25. But she's got some stuff on her plate, so she's busy. But
she won, right?
She has won. She beat Adam Coleman and Mikey Coleman.
So she could very well do good. I think she should come back for Blood vs. Water with her daughter, Sean.
Well, you gotta push that.
You and Sean, and then if I feel like playing, Uncle Ron will be there to help protect Sean.
There you go. There you go. I think that's great. So anything else you wanted to discuss on this video? I'm going to leave it open for you right now. I have no more questions.
The spotlight should come down and the music should go up.
It should. I think we might be close to saying, okay, this is it.
I love you.
All right.
More than anyone.
Yeah, we're getting there.
You do a really amazing job, and I know after
Save this for the 22nd.
No. I'm just gonna do it. Shut up for a fucking minute. God, you ruined it. I was gonna be so nice to you.
I know.
No, you do such a great job, and anyone who out there thinks that, like, I know somebody asked, like, why doesn't Ron do a video about Phil? And it's like, I didn't want to do that because I don't want to like give away backstories because I don't know too many backstories really. But you guys should know that when you do the game, anything he does, like this is my motivation in life for a lot of things I do now is to kind of live up to Phil. Is that you put in so much energy and effort into the game, and everything that you do is pretty incredible. So I always play the game hard because I appreciate how much work you put into it.
Well, thank you. Well, I enjoy it. And
do you want to make out right now?
No, and I think that we're getting a little sappy here. So, all right.
But also, if I ever did offend anybody that felt like they shouldn't have been offended,
here it comes.
I'm sorry.
There should be a public apology on the bottom.
But I play the game in a style that I think is suitable for me. And so when I'm a villain through and through. When I've evolved and I've changed and I play differently now, and I don't harbor ill will towards anybody that I played the game with, and I hope no one does for me as well. I'm not sorry for the way that I've played the game ever, but because I'm proud of having won twice.
Yes.
So, you know.
How many awards are you nominated for?
I was nominated for 4.
For 4 awards.
So we'll see if I win one, and I would be surprised if I actually did win one.
You don't think you're going to win?
I think a lot of people hate me.
Oh gosh. Oh, I don't think that. I think you're just associated with the game.
I'm very.
You're a character.
Anyone could tell you I'm very. No, I'm not different outside of the
No,
game.
maybe not.
We should show the Devil Child photo, my birth photo. That's true.
No.
That's our Christmas
a little
card.
Scary. All right. So we'll see you on August 22nd.
As I said, my Miss America pageant duties we'll have to see, but I am.
Who are you looking forward to seeing there?
I'm looking forward to seeing every single person, especially people from up in Toronto like Jonathan. I want
You want
Jonathan
there.
Jonathan Michelle, Mike Morowski, Chris Johan, Adam Doyle, Sandy Clinton, Sarah Clinton, Linda Mariage, Ethna Adrian, Lynn Gorley, Mike Ben, Jessica, Matt, everyone. I want everyone